So 10 years after the collapse of the World Trade Center, we found ourselves in a situation in which, we were on the one hand innovative at a very, 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 very fast speed, but on the other hand, we had this dark cloud behind us that basically did not allow us to move on, because we couldn't really understand how a failure of the magnitude of the World Trade Center could have ever happened. How in the design process we actually missed, these gaps, created these gaps that enabled a failure of this nature to happen. It's at this point, before the 10th anniversary of the collapse of the World Trade Center, that we approached the Lloyd's Register Foundation to support a series of 3 workshops that will enable us to explore issues of professionalism and the issues that actually can allow a failure of this magnitude to happen. So the workshops were held at the University of Edinburgh, and the first one was held in 2011. The 3 fundamental conclusions of these workshops were very clear. The first one, we needed a designer, we needed an orchestra director, an individual that could actually see the big picture, but also see and understand the different participants in the process. The second workshop concluded that all these internal participants, had to interact in a way in which the hierarchies were well defined, the relationships were not conflicting, and enabled this designer to be the orchestra director. The third workshop looked at the external variables and demonstrated that the external variables have to be understood. The designer has to understand all these external variables, contextualize them, put them all together. And only if the designer understands the external variables, we can actually have an innovative design that basically does not have the potential weaknesses that led to the failure of the World Trade Center towers. So on the basis of these 3 conclusions, we approached the Ove Arup Foundation to organize a second set of 3 workshops, and this time at the University of Queensland. And the first of these 3 workshops was to focus on what is innovative design and how can we foster innovative design within the built environment. Very rapidly, we picked up on this concept of the designer, its internal technical context, its external societal context, and we realized that this all started at the educational level. It was about the way in which you educate this individual. So the second workshop brought a group of individuals that were focused on education, on higher education. So there were people in engineering education, people that were devoted to understanding pedagogical aspects of higher education. And the discussion very rapidly drifted in the direction not of the tools that we use to educate, but actually of the environment that we create for individuals in this process of education. So it was not about necessarily the way in which we do it, but who does it and the context in which we do it. So at the end, it is just simply about the people that are involved. So the third workshop sets itself in that context. So the third workshop is exploring who are the individuals who actually are to educate. What is the actual context that a university has to provide? Does it have to have laboratories? Does it have to have walls? Or is it simply a group of people that are like-minded, that have the right motivation, that have the right drivers, and basically look at the problem in a way such that they can motivate the growth of an innovative mind?